Hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE enthusiast Doug, and today's episode we're going to be discussing Friday Night Smackdown, January 19, 2024 edition. We are a couple weeks away from the Royal Rumble, or I guess less than a week away from the Royal Rumble, and this episode of Friday Night Smackdown was focused on making the Fatal 4-Way match for the Undisputed Universal title official with a contract signing, followed by a special match between Randy Orton and Solo Sikoa. Well, the matchup on paper was special, but the match itself didn't end up being anything special. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with the contract signing for the Undisputed WWE Universal Championship match at the Royal Rumble. So Knight, Styles, and Orton all entered the arena and signed the contract for the match. But the only person who didn't do it was the Tribal Chief himself. Paul Heyman interrupted the proceedings and informed the competitors in the match and SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis that Reigns will not be signing the contract. Aldis then said that he would strip Reigns of the contract if he did not sign the title, or strip him of the title if he did not sign the contract. And before Reigns could come out to respond, Styles and Knight came to blows, and the segment concluded with Orton threatening Heyman. I don't know if he threatened Heyman with an RKO, but he certainly told Heyman he was going to RKO Roman Reigns. And that closes out the segment there. So, hot start to the show. The crowd was fired up, and the stage was set for a match between Styles and Knight later in the night. Heyman, as always, was great with his facial expressions, while Knight's popularity has not faded, which is a great sign for him. Don't think he's going to win at the Royal Rumble, but it's nice to see that his popularity is still at an all-time high. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate versus Pretty Deadly, and yeah, you read that right. Pete Dunne, he is back. Finally, it took way too long. He should have never went away, but it's okay now. He's back, and the Bruiserweight obliterated Kit Wilson and Elton Prince and Pretty Deadly, punishing them with joint manipulation early and tossing them around the squared circle en route to the bitter end and victory. This was about as strong a return for Dunne as could have been hoped for, establishing him as not only dominant but capable of picking up opponents apart and putting them away. There were no tricks, just an unforgiving beating, a necessary return to form, followed by a necessary return to form and a reunion with Tyler Bate. This is exactly what Pete Dunne needs with his reintroduction as Pete Dunne. The Kevin Owens show with Logan Paul, and WWE went into the archives to provide some story and heat for the upcoming United States Championship match at the Royal Rumble between Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. Paul reminded Kevin Owens of what happened at WrestleMania 39, where Owens gave Logan a stunner, and well, I think most people remember that segment, if anybody remembers it at all, for how terrible of a sell job Paul did with that stunner. From there, a verbal back and forth would ensue. Kevin Owens would take off his cast. Paul got in a cheap shot. Owens popped right back up. A mini fight breaks out, and that fight concludes with Paul leaving Owens writhing in pain after Paul inflicted further damage on his exposed injured hand. Owens struck out at Paul, giving him credit for reminding him he was protected and was not like any other WWE superstar. Paul, on the other hand, blamed Owens for making him the competitor he is today. The motivation for both men in this match has been established, and that will only help enhance the investment from the fans in this match. Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa, and chaos would reign supreme late in this main event. So before this match was LA Knight versus AJ Styles, a match that certainly had potential to be a good one, but WWE was not interested in letting either one of these guys take a pinfall loss en route to a big title match. So instead they ran the interference card and had Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso ruin the proceedings, which then followed up with Orton, which then led into Orton versus Sikoa. And again, and this one was a bit different, and with Randy Orton being in a title match and Solo Sikoa not, if this match was going to end in a pinfall And with the pinfall, it would be Orton getting the pinfall, and he did just that, but not without some shenanigans via ringside from Jimmy Uso, from LA Knight, from AJ Styles. But nonetheless, Orton would plant a call for an RKO and get the win. And then a mini fight breaks out between the Royal Rumble opponents. Orton stands tall, only to be laid out by Reigns, who would sign the contract for the title match. However, he was not standing tall to close out the show. That would have been Randy Orton, who proceeded to lay out Reigns with an RKO, reminding everybody that not only is the RKO the three most deadly letters in WWE, but that RKO really does come from out of nowhere. So the Apex Predator stood tall to close out the show. In conclusion, WWE's at its best when it is booking towards a destination, and the last month of shows on Raw to the Royal Rumble had been good, and this edition of Friday Night Smackdown was no different. From the focus on the four-way program over the Undisputed Universal title, to the intensification of the feud between Owens and Paul, and the renewed emphasis on the women's tag team division, with the inclusion of the Kabuki Warriors, who will get a women's tag team title match next week. Too early, perhaps. And unfortunately for Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, it looks like, as of right now, that their title reign will be cut short in favor of the Kabuki Warriors. Hate to see it, but in a way I kind of understand it. The show wasted no time in progressing stories and highlighting the most important stars. Add that to the re-emergence of Pete Dunne and the short but sweet video packages setting up the face-to-face meeting next week between Lashley and the Street Profits and the Final Testament, and you have the building blocks for the Royal Rumble Eve show next week. The in-ring action, sure, could have been better, but this was an angle-heavy broadcast this week, and seemingly everything hit in that regard. It was that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.